Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube.com. It is Golden Left Michael Fletcher alongside Michael Bullock and Dee Dee Woodson. Anthony Florio should be with us in just a matter of moments. I think he just, either didn't get my invite just yet or we're just waiting for him to make his appearance. Whatever the case may be, we're just going to dive right in. Smackdown live tonight from Bakersfield, California. And we started it off well. It was initially gonna start off with a match between Sami Zayn, I should say, with Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin. The winner of the fight was gonna be joining Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and AJ Styles in the WWE Championship match at Fastlane. So it was going to go from a triple threat to a fatal four-way. Well, Ziggler came out, went into the ring, and we waited for Baron Corbin to come out. We waited for Corbin, and unfortunately, Corbin never got out because he got jumped in the back. He was beaten up by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and they both started beating up on Corbin. Then they're like, you know what? One down, one to go. Let's go get Ziggler. The next thing you know, they did, and it went full on brawl. Everybody got involved. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens both stood tall, and let me tell you, I'm going to say this. This is what, for one SmackDown Live, you got it right. Start out with a red hot segment, and I don't care if it was a beatdown angle. I don't care if it was bullying to the point, and because of the fact that, and I'm gonna call it out. I was watching Facebook, and I know there was a Twitter comment by one of our very own, well, not our own, but Kevin Woodson, Dee Dee's husband. And he talked about how the bullying tactic, how that's not the way to go and everything else. And don't get me wrong, I know that was probably a cringe moment, but to see the bad guys do that, but it's better than anything we got last week from SmackDown Live. I'm sorry, I disagree with this because of the fact that it gave us a red hot start and it showed what the bad guys were willing to do to keep it a triple threat match so that they could have the numbers advantage going into the championship fight with AJ Styles. I like the mode, even though it comes back later in the night to bite them. A little foreshadowing, but this was far and away better than anything we saw 1 week ago on SmackDown Live. So with that said, Anthony Florio, come on in, my friend. I liked it. What's your thoughts?
I liked it. I loved it, and I wanted some more of it. MF, you're absolutely 100% correct. I mean, this was a wonderful way to start off SmackDown Live, and they took a page out of Raw's book last night. You noticed how we ended the show with a hook with Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, when, both covering Bray Wyatt. What they did here was they had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn take out Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin when they were scheduled to have their contenders bout, if you will. So they gave us a hook. Storyline progression. That's what brought SmackDown Live to the dance in the first place when we started this whole thing. So this was a very good and unexpected opening, with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn attempting to take out their competition. This established that they are back on the same page despite facing each other last week. Nice hook for the show in terms of keeping viewers watching to see what Shane O'Mac and Daniel Bryan would do and how they would deal with this, and whether there would still be a four-way match. So, all in all, you did it all. You did it all right. So, MF, you absolutely nailed everything on the head here. And yes, this was better than anything we saw on SmackDown Live last week. So, good way to start it off. And I will admit, this was one of the better SmackDown lives I've seen in a while. They must have listened to me. They must have heard me call them out last night on Ridiculously Raw. So good. Let's go. Michael Bullock, how do you like that?
I agree. I mean, I thought this was a great way for SmackDown Live to start. I mean, with a segment like this, with a beatdown. I mean, I know some people didn't like it. I know Kevin Woodson didn't like it, but like you said, you needed something to really make us believe that SmackDown Live was going to be a good show, and in this case, it was. And yeah, I mean, it's like we said, after last week's SmackDown was just bleh, if I'm going to be quite honest. So yeah, I mean, this was basically Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn trying to make sure it stays a triple threat match where they would have the advantage on WWE champion AJ Styles, but it somehow would come back to bite them later on in the night. Well, we'll get into it later on throughout the recap. So, nice way to start off this edition of SmackDown Live. So, Twisted Angel, Dee Woodson, come on in and give us your thoughts on this.
Okay, I kind of agree with the fact that I don't like all the bullying, but it was a strong segment. I'll give it that. I don't know. I'm kind of with Kevin. I don't know when bullying became part of a heel thing. But it is what it is. I mean, we just have to deal with the fact that WWE has this policy of no bullying, and then they have their heels doing that. So it was still a storyline based segment. So I'll go with that. So let's move on.
So the next thing we had on the show was that it basically led us to the next fight of the night, which was WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, and she was going to go up against Riot Squad member Sarah Logan. Now, what happened was all three girls were there for the Riot Squad, and one by one, Becky Lynch and Naomi showed up. And at one point, we're thinking, "Oh, are we going to get ourselves a six women tag?" No, actually, the four girls jumps off the apron. We get one-on-one Logan versus Flair, and the winner of the bout in 10 minutes and 15 seconds, definitely longer than expected. The WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair gets the win. Natural selection, but oh my God, Sarah Logan took it in the face, man. I mean, that was one of the more scarier natural selections I've seen in recent time. Anthony Floyo, come on in.
Cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Cringeworthy. Michael Bullock and I had our SmackDown Live chat, MF, and I'll tell you, I mean, we were like, oh, how is Sarah Logan even standing after that? How is she not dead after that? Goodness gracious. But yes, very good match here. I got to give this a solid 2.5. I mean, not quite as good as what we saw last night with after what Bayley and Sasha did last night, but this was solid. I mean, I'll give him credit here. I mean, it was a lot better than what we saw last week with Charlotte Flair against Liv Morgan. I mean, that was not any good at all. This was a lot better. I mean, credit where credit is due here. I mean, Sarah Logan is a more accomplished wrestler than Liv Morgan is. I mean, you're right, MF. It was a longer than expected bout. And Logan, Logan looked good in defeat. I mean, Charlotte made Sarah Logan look good. That's great. I'm happy about that. I mean, yeah, it was a little, clunky at times, but there was more positive than negative out of it. And Logan, got her shots in. She looked great. And it was very nice to see a competitive match here rather than Charlotte just, making the next member of the Riot Squad look like a doof. Like she did to Liv Morgan a week ago. So it's 2 down, 1 to go. Charlotte and Ruby, I'm probably going to assume we're going to get that next week. I kind of want to see something happen here. I want to see maybe a clunky finish here, or maybe Ruby Riott maybe pulling the tights and getting the win, because it could make the Riot Squad seem pretty weak if they lose. Well, here's the thing. It will make the Riot Squad look absolutely ridiculous if all three of them cannot beat Charlotte Flair. I got a feeling that's what we're going to get next week. I think they're going to make possibly Ruby Riott the next challenger for Charlotte Flair and the Women's Championship. And I think we're going to see something happen on the show next week, which will set up maybe Ruby Riott against Charlotte Flair at the Fastlane pay-per-view for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So, and you remember a couple weeks ago, I told you I was singing the praises of Ruby Riott, and I told Bullock that during our SmackDown chat tonight. I said that I've gotten very high on her. You remember that scathing promo she cut a few weeks ago, where I called her the Punk Princess and the Dark Angel? Well, we saw that side of her tonight, and I think we're going to see that side next week, I should say. So, a solid 2.5, maybe 3, if I'm going to be real honest. I still think the Bayley and Sasha match was just a smidgen better, but nonetheless, this was one of the better SmackDown women's matches I've seen in a while. So, let's see if he can do it again next week. 2.5 to 3. Michael Bullock, I believe that's what we agreed on during our SmackDown chat. Reiterate.
Yeah, I mean this match went longer than what I expected, but hey, I mean good for the women here, and I'll give it about somewhere between 2.5 to 3 stars, even though I think 2.5 is the correct rating for this. But man, I mean both women I thought looked really good in this match. I mean, but man, I mean Charlotte Flair with that natural selection, I mean she nailed it perfectly. Yeah, and of course, like you said, it was announced next week that Charlotte, Naomi, and Becky Lynch will face the Riot Squad in a 6-women tag team match. So who knows how that's all going to go down next week? Maybe that scenario that Florio talked about, maybe that could come true, but we'll wait and see how it all plays out next week. So, but for right now, 2.5 to 3 stars, even though I'm leaning more towards 2.5. But definitely kudos to both women here, and let's just say the Queen reigned supreme tonight, and she did it with flair. Woo! Dee Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a solid 2.5. The match itself was really good. I enjoyed the match. You know, both competitors were very strong. You know, Charlotte's continuing her destruction of the Riot Squad. Which, by the way, did anybody else notice? You know, now that I've been able to watch SmackDown more often, that they're kind of a rip-off of the Raw group Absolution. Because Ruby Riott basically looks like Paige with a bunch of tattoos. Then you've got the blonde on both of them. Then you had the bruiser on both of them. So, I mean, you basically have the same thing with both groups. It's just one group is stronger than the other one. Unfortunately, you know, I have to go with Raw on that one because I think Absolution's still a better team than Riot Squad. But anyway, I mean, Charlotte looked good. I'm looking forward to the 3-on-3 next week, which I kind of find that funny that, you know, here we are supposedly supposed to having Charlotte versus Ruby Riott, and they change it to the 3-on-3. So hopefully we will soon get to Charlotte destroying the leader of the squad. So not much more I had to say about it. Like I said, 2.5 stars. It's yours, Fletch.
Well, it's kind of more of a protection type of a thing. You know, you still got a long time before you can get to the pay-per-view. Obviously, the ultimate plan is for them to have Charlotte fight Ruby Riott at Fastlane leading into the pay-per-view. I think that's why. So do the 6-girl tag next week, which trust me, I don't mind a 6-woman tag, especially with Becky Lynch and with Sarah Logan. No, 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 no. I'll take that. I'll take that to the bank any day of the week. Like Anthony would take Liv Morgan and Charlotte Flair any day of the week. So no, for me to see this happening, I'm fine with it. I'm cool with it. I can't wait to see it next week. So with that said, we're just gonna go right on. And yeah, there was a backstage segment. Shane McMahon was like, you know what? I'm gonna lay down the law. We're gonna have 2 separate singles matches: Baron Corbin versus Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn versus Dolph Ziggler. And if Corbin and Ziggler wins, then they get added to the triple threat and they make it a fatal 5-way. Now, Daniel Bryan didn't really do much here. He kind of let Shane laid down the law, and Daniel's like, okay, fine. I'm cool with that. I don't gotta I in the back of my mind, I'm like, all right, Daniel, what's your play here? What's really going on? But anyway, we're not gonna get into that anymore, because the next fight of the night we had was indeed the one-on-one match, Corbin versus Owens. The winner of the bout at 11 minutes and 5 seconds and earning the spot for the WWE Championship match at Fastlane, the Lone Wolf, Baron Corbin. He wins it. I believe this goes to you, Michael Bullock. So the Lone Wolf has now made it a fatal 4-way.
Yeah, and I'll just say it, Fletch, and I know you. I think this was a Be a Man fight. This was a Smash Mouth Be a Man fight right here.
Absolutely.
With these 2. I mean, what else would you expect when you got these 2? I'll give it about 3.25 stars on this. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, these 2 didn't hold back. I mean, this was in your face, Smash Mouth, Be a Man. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, I know Fletcher, I'm sure he was watching it. He definitely enjoyed it. And yeah, so now Baron Corbin, I mean, despite getting attacked earlier in the night, he somehow beats Kevin Owens and now gets added to the title picture, making it a fatal 4-way. So now the question is, can Dolph Ziggler beat Sami Zayn and make it a fatal 5-way? We're just gonna have to find out here. And so this was definitely one of the top fights of the night. 3 to 3.25 stars is my rating. So Twisted Angel, D.D. Woodson, the Lone Wolf gets added to the WWE title picture.
Yep, that he does. And honestly, after the segment at the beginning, I'm kind of glad Corbin did make it into the match. I'm going to go with the 3-star rating on this. Even though Corbin was kind of, beaten up from that segment at the beginning, he still looked strong in this, and he still managed to outsmart Kevin Owens and pretty much kind of shut him up. So not much more I have to say about it. Fletch, it's yours.
Three-star. I'm going to say about 2.5 to 3 stars. I thought it was a solid fight. Yes, it served its purpose. Happy Corbin won. That's the big thing. Corbin gets a shot. He gets the opportunity. He has to fight for the title now, which is awesome. You know, it also kind of serves the purpose that regardless of what Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn did to try to take a competitor out of the picture and try to deny them a championship, the land of opportunity that was given by Shane McMahon this time around, not Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon did this wholeheartedly and made it that type of decree for him to pull it off, to get the win, to get the victory, and more importantly, to declare for Corbin to get the shot. And now it's a fatal four-way. You kind of feel bad for AJ because you're like, man, now you got to deal with another competitor, but it's also poetic justice. This is that, remember that thing about the bullying. Yes, there's bullies out there, but if you can overcome it, if you can rise up above the hate and overcome whatever obstacles is thrown in their way, you can achieve greatness. And that's what we saw right here tonight. Baron Corbin got a Raw deal, got jumped in the back, not even had an opportunity to fight for the championship, still gets a little worse for wear, beaten up, whatever you want to say. He fights Kevin Owens and beats him. End of days, center of the ring, clean victory. 1, 2, 3. He's now made it a fatal four-way with Sami Zayn and Dolph Ziggler still to come. Could we get a fatal five-way? You're just going to have to wait and find out. But for me, 2.5, 3 stars. Oh, this was beautifully done. This was beautifully done. Anthony Floyo, it's all yours.
You nailed it again, MF. 2.5 to 3. You're absolutely right. It was a little awkward to start, you know, given that both men are heels and the fans didn't have a strong rooting interest. But I'll give them credit. They worked hard. They had the crowd reaction to the bigger moves down the stretch. And you noticed that the fans kind of popped a little bit for Baron Corbin at the end there. That was pretty good. And MF major brownie points for the intro there. The Baron Corbin. Someone's been paying attention to me. And I mentioned it to Bullock. Well done. So that was awesome. Anyways, Michael Bullock hit it right on the head. Smackdown chat we had tonight, we said hard-hitting, smash-mouth, physical match, a be-a-man fight, something that I know Michael Fletcher would enjoy. Come on, MF, this was your style of match. Wait till we get to Ziggler and Zayn, where it's more of the style that Bullock and I like, you know, which is the scientific, technical style of matches. But for the MF style of matches, you know, for the MF style of match here that we got, the smash mouth, physical, hard-hitting, be-a-man fight, a lot. I mean, I really didn't have high hopes for this one, but, you know, they delivered. So, very good job, very, very good effort from both men. And, hey, we got another guest coming to the dinner table, which is the WWE Championship bout in the form of the Lone Wolf. So, good. I'm glad. If it's a 5-way, well, we'll find out. I'll have something to say about that in a little bit. So 2.5 to 3, no question about it. Another quality match here. So let's move on.
And we moved on to what was supposed to have been the Bobby Roode United States Heavyweight Championship Open Challenge. And Roode kind of, he said that it was open to the locker room and everybody else, but he kind of was like, you know what? I hope the person that takes it and rather would face me man to man instead of delivering an RKO out of nowhere. I started thinking, I'm like, you did not just call out my boy Randy Orton. Bobby Roode, you did not just do that and think 1 second that my boy was not going to answer it. Sure enough, Randy Orton came out. They started jawing. It looked like everything was going to go down. The next thing we know, Jinder Mahal came out. Now I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? Next thing you know, he started ripping about the top 10, the top 10 list, and he was trying to throw a lot of shade at Randy Orton. I mean, Randy Orton when the first rankings came out was ranked at number 9. Bobby Roode was ranked number 5, and Jinder wasn't even in it. But he was playing up the fact that nobody likes Randy Orton, that nobody really cares much about him, as far as the WWE locker room area, because this was voted by the WWE locker room, and that there's not that much respect or like of it, and that he kind of was throwing a lot of shade at Orton. And then Bobby Roode is like, I'm not gonna get into this, but I'm not gonna go after it. But it seemed like Orton got a little annoyed about the list, said that it doesn't bother him, and then he kind of went at it back and forth about the finishers on how Roode finished higher, and it started to look like are we gonna? What are we gonna do? Next thing you know, Jinder Mahal absolutely just goes nuts. A brawl breaks out. Well, after Orton RKO'd one of the Singh brothers. Well, the only Singh brother, because the other one is actually on the shelf with an injury. So he hits one of the Singh brothers with an RKO. A full brawl breaks out, and at the end, Jinder Mahal colossus both Bobby Roode and Randy Orton. No joy in Mudville, to say the very least. So, I don't know, guys. I mean, maybe a triple threat for the United States title in the horizon? Bobby Roode, Randy Orton, and Jinder Mahal? I mean, that would be pretty interesting. I'm definitely down for that. Dee Dee Woodson, what says you, my love?
Yeah, it sounds interesting having the 3 of them in there. I didn't see much point of Jinder coming out mentioning the top 10 when he's not even on the top 10. I mean, why make a big deal out of it when you're not even on the list? And I was kind of glad that Roode brought that up in the end. That he wasn't on the list. But yeah, I do see that this is possibly going to end up being a triple threat, probably at Fastlane, if not holding out until WrestleMania. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with this in the future, or how this kind of plays out. It was still a pretty strong segment. Not much more I'm going to have to say about it. So whoever takes it, take it.
Yes, I step in here. All right. It was productive for Bobby Roode to actually get a chance to speak about something at some length and set up his mission statement. Doing it opposite of the popular Randy Orton might not work toward getting fans lined up behind either of them. Jinder helped in that regard. Roode addressed the obvious, which is why as a former WWE champion like Jinder Mahal, who didn't make the list trying to stir trouble over Orton being at number 9, this seems to set up, yet another match with 3 or more wrestlers, though. So we're probably looking at a triple threat match at Fastlane for the United States Heavyweight Championship, with Bobby Roode defending against both Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal, which I think could be interesting. We'll see what happens, but the multi-man matches are starting to become a little bit tired and played out here. So, of course, the big news that came out is that starting at Backlash, we're going to be having dual-branded pay-per-views going forward. So, which means both Raw and SmackDown will be represented. Good. I like it. I love it. So, and I posted a link in our group chat box, and I hope MF, I hope you not only noticed it, but I hope you went in and actually looked into it. If you saw the link that I posted, and if this is true, oh my, major shakeup coming in May. So that's all I can say on that. So good segment though. I'll give it that. This was another good segment, and everybody did well. And I'll be honest, this was one of Ginger's better promos. I mean, I know I've been very critical. I was very critical of Ginger and his promos. Yes, he still sounds like he has laryngitis, but still, I mean, that was one of the better Ginger promos I've heard in a while. And it was a serious promo in the whole 9 yards. I mean, yeah, you made a big deal about Randy Orton being number 9 and Bobby Roode being number 5 in the whole 9 yards. I still think the top 10 thing is a little ridiculous and a little bit of a joke, considering the way they set it up. I thought it was going to be, the top 10 who deserved opportunities. It's basically like one of our Strictly Sports power rankings, for goodness sakes. That's all I can say on that. So I don't know. That's all I can say on it. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this interesting segment? I mean, we were very interested during this segment, during our chat tonight.
Yeah, this was a very interesting segment. I mean, it looked like we were going to get another one of Bobby Roode's United States Championship Open Challenge. And as soon as I heard he cut his promo and saying the challenge is open when who doesn't sneak attack from behind, and I'm like, did he just call Randy Orton out? I'm like, uh-oh, you do not want to do that. And surely enough, Randy Orton came out, and then to the surprise of both me and Florio, we were like, what is Jinder Mahal doing out here? Obviously making a beef about that top 10, that Randy Orton's number 9 and Bobby Roode's number 5. And you could just tell by the look in Randy Orton's face, like he was getting annoyed about it from Jinder Mahal. And then they all had a nice back and forth, and then Randy Orton RKO'd that Lone Singh brother, and then Jinder Mahal basically lays out both Orton and Roode. So could we be looking at a triple threat for the U.S. title? Maybe at Fastlane? I could see that happening. So we'll just have to wait and see. So I'm fine with this segment. So let's just move right along, Fletch.
So we do indeed move right along, and the next thing we had was the New Day. Okay, now this got me angry, and for the very different reasons. First off, we had was the New Day came out, and there was a lot of pancakes. I mean, a lot of them. Now, what happened was, I guess there was Kofi had noted that today was Fat Tuesday, aka Pancake Tuesday, and Xavier Woods said that Biggie was gonna try to break the record of eating 108 pancakes in 8 minutes. And believe it or not, there was actually a timer on the screen of the number of pancakes he was gonna chow down. Now, while Biggie attempted it, Sheldon Benjamin and Chad Gable, they came out, and they were like, you know what? They're not serious contenders. Woods took issue saying that we're not serious contenders. Have you checked the record books that we are the longest reigning WWE World Tag Team Champions? And no, I wasn't doing any of that stuff that Didi Woodson does not like either. And then Chad Gable was like, you know what? What would happen if I throw this down? And he throws a pancake down. Biggie, oh my goodness. The next thing you know, Sheldon Benjamin's like, you know what? What if I throw this? And he basically did like a coin flip. So you saw that thing saucering, lands to the ground. So now Biggie's like, you could see him getting redder. Like he's really getting mad. Next thing, they basically grab a stack of pancakes and basically is like, you know what? We're waffle guys, and the hell with the pancakes, and throws the whole plate, and a whole bunch of the pancakes fell to the ground. Biggie almost blew a gasket. He went nutso. I never seen him this pissed in my life, and boy was he ready to fight at that point. And I took umbrage because I'll admit it. Anthony Floyo, Michael Bullock, Didi Woodson, they're always about the Lee and the green beans for everybody. I love pancakes. I have pancakes in the morning for my breakfast. Not every day, but a lot of the times I have pancakes more than anything else. For them to disrespect the art of the pancake, I almost blew a gasket. If Anthony Floyo and Michael Bullock was here with me, I was literally the Biggie Langston. Them boys were going to have to hold me back from killing Sheldon Benjamin and Chad Gable because I was heated when I saw the pancakes hit the floor. Honest to God. So the next thing we know, it is a tag team fight. Winners of the bout, New Day wins. All right. Unfortunately, I don't have a time here. I don't know why. Bleep it. Whatever. Good fight. Decent match. Okay, it was painless. It wasn't really much of anything else. Plus, they actually protected Gable and Benjamin here because of the fact that Xavier Woods was distracted with the referee and the whole 9 yards. So it's not a clean win, which Gable and Benjamin could say, hey, we want another shot at the New Day, please. We got screwed out of this fight. Granted, I'll give you that. But, and the thing was, as much as the Pancake Day was kind of a little, but solid for what it was worth. I got nothing bad to say. Decent fight. I'll give maybe 2.5 stars. I might be overscoring that. Unfortunately, by default, this is the worst fight of the night. By default, it is because there was only one match left after this, and I think we're not going to bash this match at all. So, Anthony Floyo, come on in. 2 to 2.5 stars. Unfortunately, by default, the worst fight of the night, at least in my eyes.
6-minute match, by the way. I got the
all right, thank you, because they didn't post it on the site that I'm going off.
Well, the site I'm going off gave it 6 minutes, so, and because of that, yes, 2 to 2.5 is the correct rating for it. Yeah, and as far as what you were saying about the whole green bean thing, all of the Hardys, Bullock and I, we have a lot of fun with that during our chats, whether it's Raw or SmackDown Live. And yes, I will admit it. I've got a hankering for pancakes too. Yes, I do. It's my favorite breakfast food. One of my 2 favorite breakfast foods. The other being waffles, of course. And have you ever had pancakes with powdered sugar and syrup on those boys? They are delightful and wonderful. I told that to Bullock earlier tonight during our chat when we saw this whole thing. I mean, one of the reasons why Monday Night Raw has been so better than SmackDown Live, honestly, they don't waste our time with what I would consider a pointless and trifle unnecessary filler. I considered what we saw before the match with this whole pancake thing. As much as I love them, I consider that a little trifle unnecessary, if I'm going to be honest. But Benjamin and Gable came out, and that's when the mood changed, and that was good. I you know how high I've been with these guys as heels, and by default, worst fight of the night because it was only a 6-minute bout. I mean, 2 to 2.5, I believe, would be the correct rating for this. I think it's more like 2, if I'm going to be real honest with you. So, solid 2 stars. I don't think it was anywhere the caliber of 2.5. I think solid 2 is the best we can give this. So, and nice win for New Day, Midnight Hour. I love that combination move. So, I think we got ourselves a solid undercard tag team feud here. I like it. New Day against Gable and Benjamin. I'm for it. Just give us more time. That's all I can say. Give us more quality matches because this was not quite a quality match tonight. Michael Bullock, it's yours. Solid 2. 6-minute match.
Yeah, I'll give it a solid 2-star effort for the match here. I mean, it was fine in the short amount of time it did get, and yeah, I am a pancake guy too. I mean, I like it either with butter and syrup or even with both butter, powdered sugar, and syrup. So, as much as I love pancakes, I mean, I thought what the New Day did was frightfully unnecessary and pointless as well. I mean, I didn't like it at all. I mean, but when Benjamin and Gable came out, they did make it a little better. So it is what it is. So nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, I got a feeling you'd rather talk about the match than the segment.
The only thing I'm going to say about the segment itself is that Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable need to learn how to be better heels, because that was probably the worst heel promo I've seen. Yeah, the segment was kind of bleh. I mean, I don't like seeing anybody waste food, especially in my house. And as far as the pancakes go, that we have our what we call our special breakfast Saturday mornings, because the kids don't have time to have anything more than cereal before they go to school and work. So Saturday, when everybody's home, we make pancakes, or we make eggs, or French toast, or waffles, or whatever you want to, a cheesy hash brown casserole. I don't, whatever. We make something special on Saturdays, and yes, pancakes is one of them. Or we'll make a pancake sandwich where you have eggs, sausage, or bacon, and cheese on your pancakes. So, I mean, seeing them waste the pancakes like that, I mean, I probably would have got about as pissed off as Biggie did if I was there, and I probably would have, being a female, I probably would have gone for the male jewels on both of the guys for doing that. So, but that's it for the segment. As far as the match, yes, a solid 2 stars for the match. Not going to say much more. Did my mini rant, so Fletch, it's yours.
Well, that's why we call her the Twisted Angel, man. She went for the jugular tonight. What the heck? Normally mild-mannered, nice and sweet, beauty as an angel, Dee Woodson, talking about that she was gonna hit Benjamin and Gable down south of the border. God dang, vicious woman. Oh man, no filter. All right.
Yeah, dang, Dee Woodson, tell us how you really feel.
Well, she definitely did, and then some. All right, so
me too.
hey, no, it's fine. I don't mind it. It's all in fair. It's fair. That's perfectly fine with me. All right, so next up, our main event of the evening, it was Sami Zayn versus Dolph Ziggler, and if Dolph Ziggler wins, then we have ourselves a fatal 5-way. If Sami Zayn wins, sorry Ziggler, you're on the outside looking in, and it remains as a fatal 4-way. Winner of the bout at 16 minutes and 10 seconds, Dolph Ziggler wins. We got ourselves a fatal 5-way now for the WWE Championship at Fastlane. I believe, Anthony, do you lead off on this?
Yes, I do.
All right, my man, it is all yours. Before you say anything, is there the infamous words? Are we calling this fight of the night?
Darn tootin'. That's all there is to say on that. This was indeed the fight of the night. Absolutely solid 3.5, maybe teetering on 4. This, I'm not surprised this was the fight of the night. I mean, the body of work of these guys, that was a great effort from Dolph Ziggler. I mean, you heard what I said on the show last night. He signed a 2-year deal, a brand new 2-year deal with WWE after they, from what I read, made him an offer that he couldn't refuse. And I think this is part of it. I mean, giving him an opportunity at the WWE Championship. And the dirt sheets that I was reading, I think the arena where Fastlane is going to be, which is the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio, on March 11th. It was advertising that the main event of Fastlane was going to be a fatal 5-way for the WWE Championship. The only difference was they advertised Shinsuke Nakamura as part of this fatal 5-way match. Of course, obviously that will not happen because Nakamura, of course, won the Royal Rumble. He's got his opportunity at WrestleMania, and we're all still hopeful that it will be AJ Styles who comes away with the belt after this 5-way bout. So AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler. That's a hell of a 5-way. But like Didi Woodson just did a little bit ago, I gotta do some nitpicking of my own. The idea of the WWE going with a 5-way main event on Fastlane, and I'm sure if you didn't hear the news, the first ever 7-man elimination chamber match because of the fact that Kurt Angle and them decided to add both Seth Rollins and Finn Balor to the mix. I think it's a little bit of overkill, if I'm going to be real honest. I think it's just too much. So, as far as the match is concerned, I mean, another heel match. I mean, the crowd, they had a little more of a difficult time getting into this match than the earlier heel match. Hard to blame them. I couldn't blame them one bit. But they did eventually come around, and they got behind Dolph Ziggler as the quality of the match went on, and Sami Zayn's heel antics eventually gained the crowd's favor. So, yeah, solid 3.5 to 4. I mean, this was an amazing main event, a great main event. This was a more of a scientific, technical style match, a la myself and Michael Bullock. Whereas with Corbin and Owens, we had that smash mouth, hard hitting, physical, be a man fight that MF and Derek Ferreira love so much. So, well done. Great main event, great way to close the show. Even though I think the main events of both pay-per-views are overkill, it is what it is. So, 3.5 to 4, fight of the night, absolutely spot on, absolutely correct. Michael Bullock, man, oh man, what a way to close out this quality edition of Smackdown Live, one of the best ones in a long time.
Yeah, 3.5 to 4 stars, and this was definitely the fight of the night. And now this is the definition of a technical style match here. I mean, when you got two guys like Dolph Ziggler and Sami Zayn who can put on a solid technical wrestling style match that we got here, I definitely got to applaud both of them here. And I do agree. I mean, with Florio, I do have that same nitpicking as well. I mean, why WWE is going down the road with both main events is basically an overkill. I mean, 7 men in an elimination chamber, which to me makes absolutely no sense. And then of course a fatal 5-way for the WWE Championship. That's an overkill as well. I mean, I can understand they're trying to make it tougher for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to try to become champion by putting Ziggler and Corbin in there, but still, it's an overkill. So, I know some people may not like what we say here, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It's our opinion, and, well, it's mine and Florio's opinion, and we're sticking to it. So great main event, great way to close out what was a decent edition of a SmackDown Live. So Twisted Angel, Dee Woodson, your thoughts on the main event?
It was a solid main event. Definitely better than the Kevin Owens match. I'll agree with the rating. And yeah, I'll also agree kind of with y'all's nitpicking. I mean, this is getting old. Them giving in to Owens and Zayn, but adding the 2 extra to this, I mean, that kind of made it a little bit better. But still, why do we need 5 people in this match? And just like Florio said, why do we need 7 in an elimination chamber that's only made for 6? I mean, that don't make sense. I mean, you're wanting to try to make something bigger and better. Well, I don't think you're making it bigger and better. I think you're making it, more confusing and taking the lazy way out. I mean, you had 2 guys Monday night make a pin, and instead of having a match to figure out which one of them would fill that slot, you're going to throw both of them in there? That's overkill. Sorry. And having 5 in this is same thing. It's overkill. I mean, you're hitting us really hard right now with these multiple people matches. I mean, what happened to the old, one-on-ones that we usually have? Why do we have to have everything multiple matches at pay-per-views? I mean, we don't need 15 people in one match. We don't need 7 in a chamber. We don't need 5 going for a title. I mean, what happened to the good one-on-ones we used to have? I mean, I think the last few pay-per-views all have had, the multiple matches. Royal Rumble, yes, you expect that. That's what it is. It's a Royal Rumble. You're supposed to have 30 people in there. But you don't need, in a chamber match, you don't need more than 6 people in there. I'm sorry. I don't agree with what they're doing. Just like I went on the rant for the pancakes, this is my little mini rant for this. So that's it. Fletch, take it.
Overall review time, guys, and I believe it starts off with, because Anthony started with the main event. So
I started off.
Yes, it does, my friend. Overall review of Smackdown Live. What did you think about the show tonight?
Boy, I mean, this was definitely better than last week's SmackDown Live, no doubt about it. And I'll give it about maybe 7.5 to 8 out of 10. I mean, I thought everything was good. I mean, the only thing I didn't like was that whole New Day segment with the pancakes. I mean, that really took it away a little bit. But other than that, the matches were decent to even solid. So, and we didn't have any cutouts with tonight's SmackDown Live. So SmackDown Live really stepped up to the plate. So 7.5 to 8 out of 10 is my thoughts on my rating for the show. So Dee Woodson, I guess we can say this SmackDown Live was definitely 10 times better than last week.
Oh yeah, it's better than what we've had for a while. Because for some reason, our monkey riders that's all they do. They just goof off, and I guess they're definitely sitting on their brains, and they sit there and they just scratch their brains and not know what the heck they're doing. Well, this week, I guess one of them actually decided to use the brain and come up with something half decent and actually work on some storyline progressions and stuff. It's just we need to like I was saying on the main event, we need to cut back on all these 4 or 5 peoples in matches. I mean that's it's getting old. We don't need, like I said, we don't need 5 people going for one title. That's a bit much. So I'm going to give it a solid 7.5. Still it was a strong show, and like Bullock said, no cutouts. So we've had our little mini rants tonight. We've pretty much touched on the bullying issue and on the pancake issue and how bad certain wrestlers are. So not much more I have to say about it. I'll see you all next week. Bye.
Have a good night. Have a good night, Dee Dee. I agree. 7.5 out of 10. They nailed it tonight. SmackDown Live. Thank you. Thank you for at least listening to our rants, listening to our criticism that we gave you guys a week ago, and you finally decided to say, you know what? Enough of this. Let's go back to what brought us to the dance. The storyline progression, they rewound the tape. They must have rewound the tape, saw that show, saw how bad it was, and they were like, and I think McMahon and Kevin Dunn was like, never again. Don't you ever pull a stunt like that again and drain down SmackDown Live. Give us a good show. Give us something that the fans are going to like and that's going to be SmackDown worthy. And that's what it was. Tonight, they gave us a SmackDown worthy show. 7.5 out of 10. It's not better than Raw. Raw definitely won this week. But SmackDown Live was respectable. They came back, they fought like heck, and they had a respectable showing. For me, I got nothing bad to say. SmackDown Live was awesome. They nailed it. They brought it. There was one cutout, plus there was some storyline progression as well. One thing we did not talk about, the Usos cut it a promo, and the Bludgeon Brothers broke the TV with their hammers. It looks like now the Bludgeon Brothers might be the next in line for the tag team titles. So there's definitely a lot of good that came out of SmackDown. They went back to the old formula, the reason why we loved SmackDown Live, and at a time, we said that SmackDown Live was better than Monday Night Raw. Even though Raw was definitely blew it out of the box this week, SmackDown Live decided, you know what? Let's try to be close to their level. Let me say it. They came pretty damn close, Anthony, as we pass it off to you, Mr. Raw.
Yeah. Yep. I guess we got competition again. I thought Monday Night Raw was going to run away with this thing for a while, and Monday Night Raw was going to be the app was going to really prove why they're the A show, and SmackDown was just that B show. Well, finally, they gave us a great show here tonight. This was one of the, even though this was a very strange and bizarre edition of SmackDown in some ways, it had the quality in-ring action like we had on Raw last night. We had about 3 or 4 quality matches here tonight. Dolph Ziggler and Sami Zayn, quality match. Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin, quality match. Charlotte Flair and Sarah Logan, that was even a quality match. So, there you go. I mean, I still have my doubts about the creative direction, but for the first time in a while, I actually came away entertained by this edition of SmackDown Live. So, yes, you're absolutely right, MF. Raw was better, but only by a smidge, because Monday Night Raw, we all know what Raw did last night. It was just incredible. I could probably say the best Raw of 2018 so far, if I'm being honest. But this was far and away the best SmackDown Live of 2018. They came to the West Coast. San Jose and Bakersfield got 2 great shows. But next week, both Raw and SmackDown Live will be in Phoenix, Arizona next week. So let's see which show gives Phoenix the better time. So we'll find that out soon enough. Monday Night Raw, of course, will be the go-home show for the Elimination Chamber. And SmackDown will just be another SmackDown Live as they continue on their road to Fastlane on March 11th. So that's all we can say on this. So solid 7.5 for me. Raw was a smidge better. So well done, SmackDown Live. Well done. For 1 week, you actually gave us a good show. Now that you've given us this good show, as all of us here at the Wrestling Forum, and especially the leader of Team SmackDown, the one and only good old MF Michael Fletcher, especially him, he is not expecting anything less, and we're not expecting anything less now that you've achieved this good show. Keep it up, because God help us all if you give us another crap show in the future. Gloves are coming off, and I'm going to hit you in the mouth.
Yep.
I'm not only going to do that, but we're also going to hit you in the mouth. We're going to punch some faces, and we're going to snap some limbs, Top Guy style, if you know what I mean. Say
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Mikey's mindset.
Well, it is going to be a brief Mikey's mindset because tonight, as you know, was the Mixed Match Challenge. So while we were doing the show, the match went down. Chalk went up for SmackDown Live 2 in a row for them as Rusev Day. Yes, Rusev and the Ravishing Russian Lana defeats Bayley and Elias, and they have advanced to the next round. And our final first round matchup next week is going to be, I believe it's Charlotte Flair and Bobby Roode. And who hasn't gone for Raw yet? I think it's going to be, let me see. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize in advance because I thought
what is it for next week?
I'm trying to see who the final team is for Monday Night Raw because
Nia Jax and Apollo Crews.
That's right. Apollo Crews and Nia Jax versus Bobby Roode and Charlotte Flair. That is going to be the final first round matchup of the Mixed Match Challenge. And, well, we'll wait and see what happens there. So there's really no other legitimate Mikey's mindset on the floor, on the cutting room floor, but I will make one little, I'm not going to say indemnity because it's not really an indemnity. What I do need to talk about quickly, if I have it, give me 1 second, because we did have some Ring of Honor news that I wanted it to get into this week coming up. Well, obviously, first off, the Mixed Match Challenge, like I said, that was the big thing. And here we go. So what we did have this week on Ring of Honor television, we had, and this actually went down as it was basically Bear City Bruiser and the Kingpin, Brian Malonis, as they went up against Coast to Coast, Leon St. Giovanni, and Shaheem Ali. The winners of the bout was Coast to Coast. And actually, no, it ended up being a double disqualification. This is a good fight. This is a good, solid match. I had nothing bad to say about it. So the next thing we had was a first-round matchup in the Women of Honor Championship Tournament, and it was Anthony's favorite, one of Anthony's favorites, the Exotic Goddess, Mandy Leon, as she went one-on-one with a legend in the game, former TNA Knockouts champion, Madison Rayne. And when it was all said and done, Mandy Leon wins. She moves on to the next round of the tournament. And you know what? I gotta say it. This was a good fight. And for once, I'm gonna say this, and I can't believe I'm gonna say this. This was almost up to par with the Monday Night Raw women. It was that good of a fight. Go out of your way to watch this match. Mandy Leon versus Madison Rayne. This was actually a solid fight. It wasn't the greatest thing out there, but this was definitely on par with some of the stuff that you've been watching with Monday Night Raw women lately. So definitely go out of your way to watch this match. The next thing we had was our main event of the evening for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight title. The champion, Dalton Castle, versus Punisher Martinez. When it was all said and done, the winner of the bout, and still Ring of Honor World Champion, Dalton Castle, fight of the night. Incredible match. Great way to close the show. 3 to 3.5 stars is my rating for it. And when it was all said and done, as far as the overall rating for this episode of Ring of Honor Wrestling, 7 out of 10. Definitely good high spots. Definitely good to start with a double count, a double DQ. Good little storyline there. And then with the Women of Honor tournament, which is also something really good that I've seen up to this point. Definitely going to be very interesting to see how that plays out down the line. Good fillers throughout the match, and the main event was just absolutely amazing. So that's it. Nothing more to say. Friday night is another edition of Strictly Sports, and my goodness, what an episode we're gonna have coming up. We definitely got a lot to talk about, and to set the table, Anthony Florio, why don't you come on in? Do you have the docket for Friday?
I certainly do, and I'm going to give it to you right now. So here we go.
Fire away.
Jimmy Garoppolo's contract extension. We're going to discuss that. Frank Reich, the new head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Kristaps Porzingis, ACL injury, done for the year. We're going to recap the NBA trade deadline. MF, I'm going to need you to be on full trade deadline alert, because I know
you got it.
Because I know how much you cover that. I know how much you follow that. I don't really follow it, but I'm hopeful that you can help me out here and keep me on track so I can give you my thoughts on that. Chicago Cubs signed Yu Darvish. Does that make them the favorites now? I don't know about that. And from there, our newest NBA power rankings. Friday night, 10:30, we'll be here with you. So, MF, wrap it up.
Yeah, well, before that, I was wondering, Fletch, I mean, are you still going to want to talk about the whole Josh McDaniels thing? Because you didn't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's fitting and it's fair enough that I definitely want to get into that. We can couple that with the Frank Wright hiring as well, because we could probably put that in one big net. Because that was definitely something that I wanted it to get into more than anything else. So definitely we could put that in as a big net. Just call it the Indianapolis coaching carousel. Because that is literally what it was. It was a lot of chaos for 10 days in Indianapolis. Lucas Oil Stadium was definitely leaking oil, no pun intended, but it definitely was. So we'll get it all into that on Friday night, 10:30 Eastern, on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And we're done for the night, folks. So we'll see you guys right back here 1 week from tonight for another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. For Anthony Florio, for Mike Bullock, I'm Mike Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. So long for now, and bye-bye, everybody.